These scenes showed everything. When we think about movies, we don't always think about how we pause them from time to time, either to examine something more closely or to show our friends something funny or interesting that nobody else has noticed. Turns out, though, that pausing movies isn't as rare as we think. In fact, many people are coming forward and admitting, either proudly or shamefully, the moments that they had to stop for a closer look. Keep watching to see the most paused scenes in Hollywood's biggest films and find out once and for all what everybody's too ashamed to admit they like to gawk at. Fast Times at Ridgemont High, 1982. Fast Times at Ridgemont High is without a doubt a classic 80s coming-of-age movie. It marked early appearances by several actors who later became famous, such as Forrest Whitaker, Nicolas Cage, Anthony Edwards, and Eric Stoltz. While the home viewers liked some good performances, they couldn't control the urge to pause one scene the most. In the scene, Phoebe Cates' character, Linda, enjoys a swim with her friend Stacy. But the most paused moment comes when Linda climbs up the steps. Jurassic World, 2015. Fans of Jurassic World appreciated the recent installment, and there were some memorable scenes in the movie as well. For instance, Jimmy Buffett is running in the scene from a pterodactyl. What's so special about this scene? Well, he's carrying 2 drinks when everyone's running for their lives. Seems like the party can never stop for him. Who Framed Roger Rabbit, 1988. There is no denying the fact that Jessica Rabbit is a bodacious animated character. In the 1988 live-action animated mystery comedy, the red-haired woman is dressed in red, and her attractiveness makes her the center of attention wherever she goes. There's one scene in which the animated character reveals a lot more than many viewers expected to see, but it's important to keep in mind that it's not a real character. Psycho, 1960. The American psychological horror film by Alfred Hitchcock has had a significant impact on the horror genre. To make this movie into a masterpiece, Anthony Perkins delivered an outstanding performance as a creepy Norman Bates. If you've seen the movie, you know how it ends. We can see Norman Bates is arrested at the end and taken to jail. The scene which is paused the most comes when Bates looks at the camera, and the viewers can see the image of a skull over his creepy face for a brief moment. The Lion King, 1994. 90s kids grew up watching The Lion King again and again, but we're not sure many of them noticed this one scene that we're going to focus on and discuss. Viewers saw one thing which is quite funny. As Mufasa and Saraba are sitting on the rock, the dust and the falling stars spells out a specific 3-letter word. We won't spell that word out here, but here's a guess for you. It had something to do with bringing Simba into this world. Wild Things, 1998. The 1998 American neo-noir crime film went on to make $67.2 million in the box office. It gained notoriety for its more explicit scenes than what was common in the mainstream. There was one scene in the movie in which actress Neve Campbell and Denise Richards share a passionate kiss in a pool. So many viewers couldn't help but press the pause button again and again. Tron, 1982. Although there's been a sequel of 1982's Tron, it will always have a warm place in the hearts of many people. After all, it has many scenes in the movie that won people over. For instance, David Warner, who plays Ed Dillinger, can be seen playing a quick game of Pac-Man. If you don't believe us, look at the iconic circular character. She's the Man, 2006. Although the 2006 comedy film She's the Man is not based on the works of William Shakespeare, it is a somewhat modernized version of the play Twelfth Night. In the movie, Amanda Bynes gets into a soccer team while posing as a man. When she's caught, she pulls her top up to confirm the fact that she is a woman. So it's quite obvious that many viewers paused that scene. Boogie Nights, 1997. The subject matter of Paul Thomas Anderson's Boogie Nights is quite unique. In the movie, Mark Wahlberg's character, Dirk Diggler, is an aspiring adult movie star who starts to become someone else. While viewers did pause for a number of scenes, there's one particular scene in which almost everyone has to pause it. In the scene, Diggler takes his shirt off in front of the crew and people get to see whatever was underneath. Teen Wolf, 1985. This coming-of-age rom-com fantasy film was a huge commercial success. 1985 was the year of Michael J. Fox, as he was the star of Back to the Future as Marty McFly, and also the entertaining movie Teen Wolf, which later influenced a supernatural drama series of the same name. The end of the movie was quite predictable, but there was one thing that viewers didn't expect to see. At the end of the movie, a random guy is standing in the background with his pants down. Yeah, so now you know why it was the most paused scene in the film. Star Wars Episode 1: The Phantom Menace, 1999. Did you notice the little Easter egg in the corner of one scene in Star Wars Episode 1: The Phantom Menace? You can see that a group of aliens that appeared in E.T. can also be seen cheering. It's because George Lucas was paying homage to Steven Spielberg, since Spielberg did the same thing when he dressed up a child in a Yoda costume in his movie E.T. Back to the Future, 1985. The fans of this movie must have noticed this clever sign change. Marty McFly and Doc Brown have to travel back in time to 1955, so they meet up at Twin Pines Mall. Later on in the movie, McFly accidentally runs over one of the two pines when he's being chased. His action changed the future, and he returns at the end of the movie to find that the mall's name has been changed. There's a clever little sign change that's quite impressive. Beauty and the Beast, 1991. In Beauty and the Beast, there is one scene which you can easily miss if you blink. In the final scenes, Gaston attacks the castle with the help of the villagers. As he traverses the turrets to fight with the Beast, he ultimately stumbles and falls to his death. There, viewers notice little skulls in his pupils, showing the evil within him. Bohemian Rhapsody, 2018. Rami Malek portrayed Freddie Mercury in this 2018 biographical drama film and won an Academy Award for Best Actor. Viewers with a keen eye were excited to see the cameo of Adam Lambert as a trucker who questions Freddie Mercury's sexuality. Thanks to the clever makeup, a mustache, and busy hair, Adam is almost entirely unrecognizable. What makes Adam's cameo so special and touching is that he's been stepping into Mercury's shoes as the touring lead singer of Queen since 2011. Jurassic Park, 1993. In the movie, viewers had to hit the pause 3 times because of the incredible costume changes that pay homage to the Goonies. We know that the Goonies was a huge hit in the box office, and thanks to some Reddit users, people were able to notice the reference. Given that Steven Spielberg wrote the script for the Goonies and directed Jurassic Park, the Easter egg makes a lot of sense. Spider-Man: Homecoming, 2017. Sometimes there are little parts in a movie that deserve a pause, and this is exactly what we're talking about in Spider-Man: Homecoming. In the movie, Michelle, played by Zendaya, is reading a book called On Human Bondage. It's a 1915 novel by W. Somerset Maugham, and you know what it's about? Well, it's about an orphan boy who lives with his aunt and uncle. Now that's a clever reference. Scanners, 1981. This 1981 movie is not one of the most famous films on our list, but it has developed a strong following ever since release in 1981. Not many know that the movie also kickstarted the career of David Cronenberg. There's one scene in the film that's been paused due to its gory nature. It's best we don't spoil it for you, so you should watch the movie for 2 reasons. 1, it's fun, and 2, the gory scene is too good to miss. Take This Waltz, 2011. This relationship comedy drama really flew under everyone's radar in 2011, a rather weak year for movies in general. It was made more famous by some revealing scenes with New York-based comedian Sarah Silverman, who's already well known for her dirty sense of humor. But because she's usually only on screen and stage in comedy specials or on network TV shows, one scene in particular got a lot of attention from fans wanting a closer look. Silverman said that her motivation to do the scene was that it was a true reflection of everyday life. And she probably knows that everyday life also includes tons of people pausing a scene like this one. Forgetting Sarah Marshall, 2008. Truly a modern classic rom-com brought to us by the great Judd Apatow, this 2008 hit is still a fan favorite. Anyone who's ever seen the film will never forget the opening scene, but there are even more adult situations peppered throughout the rest of the movie. Among all of them, though, one stands out as particularly engaging with audiences. Mila Kunis got her own share of enthusiasm, but Kristen Bell takes the award on this one. Kristen Bell is mostly associated with different types of characters, one's generally less raunchy than Sarah Marshall. Perhaps that change in tone is what's gotten everyone so hyper-focused on this particular scene. Wedding Crashers, 2005. The 2005 film began an incredibly strong run of comedies that offered a shift from what fans got in the 90s. It may not hold up entirely in 2022, but it's still remembered fondly by comedy fans. While Owen Wilson and Vince Vaughn got to flex their comedy chops and become even more solidified as household names, Isla Fisher got a standout role that made a strong impression on anyone who's seen the film, apparently. Isla Fisher was perfect for the role from the onset. She was reportedly crawling all over the casting director in the audition and immediately got the part. It's no wonder the wildest scene of a wild character has gotten so much attention over the years. Atonement, 2007. In 1935 England, 13-year-old Brienne Tallis, the youngest daughter in a rich family, performed a play she penned for a family gathering. Through her bedroom window, she watches Cecilia and Robbie Turner, Brione's crush. Robbie accidentally smashes a vase during their quarrel near the fountain and shouts at Cecilia to keep still to prevent hurting her feet on the shattered pieces. Feeling furious, Cecilia takes off her clothes, looks at him, and gets into the fountain to get one of the pieces. Brione misinterprets Cecilia and Robbie's connection from the window.